Have what?
Thing was, I think she.
She's not gonna be here. Yeah, welcome everybody to the Board of Supervisors meeting. This is an emergency meeting. First thing on the agenda, let's recognize Mr. Matt.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, board and elected officials for this opportunity to update you. I think that there's going to be a few things we need to consider and make sure that we are understanding of everything as we head into the 2 o'clock storm team meeting to join the larger group. So first is we have had an upgrade in our condition since yesterday. We have now gone under the tropical storm warning, and we are expecting the winds to be picking up midday tomorrow and increasing as we go through the afternoon into the evening hours tomorrow night. So tropical storm warning for Harrison County to include the 5 cities, and we are now under a storm surge warning as well. They did bump up the height expected with the storm surge forecast. They're now looking at 3 to 5 feet of storm surge. Still not expecting that to affect anything beyond the seawall, but the beach will be affected, certainly, as well as along the back bays and the rivers and bayous. So up to 5 feet of storm surge predicted. So those are the two main things. Things will continue as we go through Wednesday into Thursday morning. And the rainfall will continue to accumulate. Of course, we are under the flood watch and do expect to see some flood warnings from flash flooding as we go into Wednesday and Thursday. But as all that water drains downhill, we're going to start encountering river flooding then as we go into Thursday and Friday. And so we'll shift the focus of our operations from along the coastlines and the roads and start worrying about river flooding and potential for closing some of our low-lying areas along the rivers as we move later in the week. With that said, with the upgrade to tropical storm warning, with the storm surge warning, with the potential for damaging winds and tornado activity, I see really 3 things that we need to prepare at this time. The first thing is it's going to be bad conditions on the beach tomorrow, and I do recommend we consider a.
When is the landfall, or when should we expect the worst, Matt?
The worst conditions, sir, are going to be overnight Wednesday night, but it's going to degrade as we go through Wednesday afternoon. We're going to start picking up the rain Wednesday morning, but the winds will pick up Wednesday afternoon after about 3 p.m. is what we're seeing right now. So certainly rainy conditions, it's going to affect our travel tomorrow morning, but the winds will pick up. They're saying right now, forecast for 3 p.m. Wednesday afternoon, and those winds will be gusting in the 30s, possibly the 40s overnight Wednesday. And so with the storm surge, I think that the beach closure would be a wise course of action, and I've talked with Trey a little bit on that. You know, the 5-foot surge certainly is going to make things hazardous on the beach. The other things to consider are, with the winds picking up and the heavy rains tomorrow afternoon, there is concerns about getting everybody home from work tomorrow. And so certainly by 5 p.m., the conditions are going to be degraded, and there may be a better way to handle that might be considering an early release tomorrow, potentially. That's for the board to consider. I know that once we start talking about admin time and folks not being here at work, that there's a lot of implications with that. But getting folks home safely tomorrow afternoon is a concern. The third and final thing is
What about address?
Yes,
Before
sir.
you move on, Matt, on that, what about Thursday morning?
Thursday morning, the winds will be continuing till about, I'm seeing at this time, at least through noon, and potentially the winds could be not laying down until about 5 p.m.
When
Thursday.
you say not laying out, what do you anticipate the
Still
velocity
gusting
of?
close to 30, and the rainfall will be tailing off Thursday morning. So rains will be letting up and winds will continue Thursday morning. But it's difficult to say right now what the state of things is gonna be Thursday morning. We just haven't been able to get a better, we won't know about any damages that need assessing until we get closer to that time.
Now, you're saying it's gonna sit on for 12 hours?
So, yes, sir, over 12 hours.
It did, I read one of your releases that it was shifting or going slightly
We've seen it,
northeast.
we've
So
seen
that
a
would be
couple
moving,
of,
I mean northwest, I'm sorry, didn't it say northwest?
Northwest.
right,
Northwest.
it's,
So that would be shifting a little way away from us, wouldn't it?
it's basically starting to round the turn now. And so this last movement has been northeast. It's starting to make its turn now, Dr.
Wait a
Ladner.
minute.
Northeast.
Northeast or
Northeast,
northwest?
Northeast.
Northeast towards
Northeast,
Louisiana,
so that's
towards us.
closer to us, I misunderstood,
Correct,
I'm sorry.
yes, sir. So, beach closure, I think I do recommend, sir, probably for Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be able to assess things after that. I do think we need to consider the possibility of an early release, maybe say noon tomorrow, but I understand there's a lot of considerations with that. The other thing, and all the schools have gone ahead and started canceling schools. So Harrison County schools are closed, Biloxi schools are closed, and we're gonna hear about the other schools that are too.
Yeah, I think all three counties all across the coast
Closed
have-
for tomorrow?
have closed.
For tomorrow.
Yes,
I think Hancock County's already closed today.
Yeah, I
That's
think
what
from
I
the
was told.
state line of Alabama, this
Yes, sir.
way everything's closed
I
tomorrow
think
and
the tropical
Thursday.
storm warning was a trigger
Yeah.
for a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
Tim, doesn't it take the governor to close the courthouse?
No, the county, the board has authority to close county operations except for chancery clerk, circuit clerk, tax assessor, and tax collector. And the reason, unless the governor declares an emergency, then they can close. But if the governor doesn't declare an emergency, somebody has to be over there because it has to do with filing deadlines and things of that
So
nature. But they don't have to have a full staff.
it hasn't come to pass yet, but I've heard indications that we may have a state of emergency from the governor this afternoon.
I'll
If
find
you get a
out.
state of emergency, you can close, but the board can close any and all county departments. Of course, the sheriff, elected officials have to make their own
Yeah,
decisions.
non-essential personnel.
Yeah, the board has authority on that, as long as those elected officials decide on theirs. And if the governor declares an emergency, then you can close that.
Chancery tax collector, has failed.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's deadlines on the tax, the main thing is chancery clerk, court clerk, and circuit clerk because of filing deadlines, unless the governor declares an emergency, those filing deadlines all get extended until the proclamation is resolved, so that's why they have to stay open. And the board doesn't close those, but you have authority to close county personnel, or close all the departments under the board jurisdiction.
Yes,
If he declares an emergency, we can close.
If he declares an emergency, then they can close, and all
That
deadlines get
That
extended.
may be
I just
revealed
texted
here soon. So potential early release Wednesday, potential late reporting, late coming into work on Thursday, depending on if the forecast holds up. And then the other consideration is our residents. And so, for most of us, our homes are not threatened by 40-some mile-an-hour winds. However, there's going to be a lot of flooding. We do have residents in low-lying areas. There's going to be tornadoes. And so people in manufactured housing, mobile homes, it is not a safe place to be in those locations during a tropical event such as this. So I would recommend to the board that we do coordinate with the Red Cross, with DHS, with our county team to look at opening our 3 county shelters of LaVoy, Social Lizana, County Farm Road. And I do think that it would benefit if we can get approval from the city of Gulfport to operate their Orange Grove Community Center as a shelter as well. That would give us 4 locations for our county and city residents to seek shelter if needed. And we do have vulnerable members of the population that need a safe place to go. The other consideration that I wanted to bring to your attention is we're now in the 2nd week of the pay period, and there's a lot of preparing, and there's going to be a lot more hours these next couple of days. So We're gonna probably be looking at an overtime situation for a fair number of our storms pretty quickly. And so that's something to consider as well, and make sure that our overtime is approved. I did reach out to the state. They have not yet received a emergency number from FEMA. As soon as we do, that means that our storm team could potentially get reimbursed for their overtime work, but we do not have that emergency number yet. That's my update to the board at this time. I'm prepared to take any questions you might have.
Okay, any questions? So I guess we need to discuss what we need to do as far as closing and opening, closing the courthouse and opening the shelters.
The county facilities, yes, sir.
Matt, what time tomorrow? You said noon for the weather?
I think it's gonna be going downhill after. Yes,
I
sir.
would say close at noon and not even open on Thursday. That's just my opinion. Go back up to work on Friday.
Probably easiest way.
Besides non-essential employees that Tim may have that he's already spoken with, that they may have to come in, but
Yeah, 'cause I can rest assure you, if we said soft opening on Thursday, a lot of folks gonna have soft.
well, the
soft
kids are gonna
stand
be
at
out of
home.
school, and it's gonna be a undue burden on people to try and figure out how to get here with kids.
Yes,
Look, it's better off, as far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
noon tomorrow, off all day Thursday.
We probably need to specify what is essential and not essential.
Well, I don't know that we can specify other than Tim.
so, she's not here right now, but Judy Lee has had designations from the department heads on which members are storm essential, and that's
Okay.
indicated in the records.
Well, we know, Tim, y'all are gonna have to be.
For emergency.
We'll put crews out as soon as we can get out. They've been prepared since 6 o'clock this morning. The biggest thing, like you said, coming into Thursday, we have to get out the cesspools, open them up, clear them, and that's in places that we can, just
Right.
assuming that's not flooded areas.
It's gonna take the morning at least.
Exactly, and I'm steady reporting back to, what's open, what's closed, what type of damages, assessing debris, so it
The
takes a
cities will
little
be doing
while.
likewise.
Okay, I agree with Dan. 12 o'clock tomorrow and Thursday, all day.
I'll say all day.
Yes, sir.
Do we need to, as far as, I've got to text into the governor's office to try to find out what their plans are, but I'm sure that the MEMA director will be able to answer that on the call, during the meeting, right?
I hope so.
If he doesn't respond. Okay.
Yes.
Do we need to meet again or have like, depending on if he does file a state of emergency? Or do we just need to plan, if he does, completely shutting the other offices down too?
Well, I think that's up to the
Yeah, I think the elected officials could, the only thing about announcing closing the courthouse, until he declares an emergency, you have to make provisions to allow the circuit clerk and the chancery clerk to remain open, and probably tax assessor and tax collector too, because of payment of taxes, but that's not as
They're over their
critical
deadline.
But
They're over their
deadline, yeah.
tax
they ought
sales
to be able
complete.
to, they ought to be able to make that determination on their own.
Elected officials can make that.
That's right, so all we're looking for is so yeah, I mean, for one, I'll make a motion that we proceed with the employees that we oversee outside of elected officials, close at noon tomorrow,
And all day Thursday.
all day Thursday,
I'll second
report
that.
Friday, normal working hours on Friday, whatever your normal working hours are, I have no idea, but whatever those are, you just expect to be here.
Yes, sir.
Any questions about the motion? All in favor, signify by aye. Those opposed by no, motion carries.
So then, what about the overtime? I mean, I'm fine with overtime, is that something that we need to?
I think it's in our pay policy already. I just wanted to make the board
Okay.
aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
That will be.
understandable, that's
Yeah.
understandable.
Okay.
So that remains then the beach closing and using the county facilities as shelters and requesting the city of Gulfport for
So
their
do we need
shelter.
to make motions on those to close the beach?
Oh, yeah, we
Yeah, we do.
can, we can do that. I entertain a motion to close the beach for
I'll make it.
what now?
Wednesday,
When?
Thursday.
Give me the
I
time.
think Wednesday and Thursday, yes, sir.
All day.
All day.
12 o'clock tonight
Starting
until,
weekend.
until
Make a suggestion
Friday,
that-
and what time?
Close
Friday
the beach
morning?
until Friday, because you're gonna have to assess.
Clean it
Well,
up.
That's what I was gonna say, is that before we just say we're open Friday, maybe we assess the damage first and then go from there,
So
but
until
definitely
further
go ahead.
notice?
I would say until,
So we
yeah,
close until
till, notice.
We can get down and put eyes on the situation before we're just wide open again.
I'll make that motion.
I mean, I don't think we're gonna have much people show up, but.
That's
I don't think
Let's
so
close
either.
until-
They're gonna go down and wait anyway.
They're gonna do what they're gonna wanna do.
Got a second on that? Close
Yeah, second.
until- All in favor, signify by aye. Aye. We got it.
And shelters, I'll
Shelters.
make a motion.
Do you need a motion on the shelters?
We
Yes,
might
sir.
need one if you had to go to Gulfport and ask
Okay.
them.
So we're not opening anything on the east end of the county, just the central
Correct,
to
yes,
west?
sir. We have limited options on the east side of the county, and I really wish that we had a standalone shelter that was not a school on the east side. I think that's an area
We
for
don't-
improvement for the county.
We don't have that shelter in the outer building?
We,
And those schools were built.
we
for
have the
having
schools.
Shelters.
Yes, sir. We have the schools, and if the board wants to coordinate with the, to do D'Iberville High School, we could use the school, but understand that that has implications then for the school district that we have to.
So the building next door to the community center in D'Iberville's not a shelter? Is
We
it a
use it
cold-
as a cold weather
Okay.
shelter, but it's on
Right.
low ground and
It's
it's
a
not
middle
rated for a
building.
storm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll make the motion to open those.
I got a motion to open the three shelters and
Three
request
standalone.
Gulfport to,
Second.
open,
And we would look to open those probably tomorrow morning so that when residents can get there to a safe location before the
now
afternoon.
that's non-food opening, no food. That's food service.
Red Cross does like snacks, but it's not hot meals.
There's a reason you need to be careful with that. Okay?
Yes.
We got a motion on the floor in reference to the opening the shelters and the one in line. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, motion carries.
All right, very good, sir. We'll work with our stakeholders and key partners to get their shelters ready. We have planned to designate at least one as a pet-friendly shelter to accommodate citizens with pets. So we'll get that ready for tomorrow, sir.
The others will be unfriendly too.
We have limited options for places to put the pets. Yes, sir.
That was pretty long.
Matt, you said, Lowboy, Lyman, County Farm,
It'll be LaBoy, County Farm Road, up near the fairgrounds,
Social.
Socializana,
okay.
and then we're requesting the city of Gulfport for Orange Grove Community Center, which I think Gulfport Police Department would help us with security there, so.
That was my question, who's gonna make that request? Matt, is that gonna come through your office, or
So
somebody need to call Billy Hughes?
I think based
Why
on the
don't you-
board action.
I would suggest you do that.
Okay.
And you can tell him that the EOC is recommending that too. But you need to make that contact.
And if we can get sheriff's assistance at the 3 county sites,
I'm
that would
already
be.
planning for it. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Any other
Anything
questions
else?
or anything I can do for the board at this time?
Just stay with it.
We have a good team and we're getting it done. We do have the 2 o'clock meeting this afternoon where we'll update the storm team. We'll take inputs and updates from the other participants, and if you're able to make it to the 2 o'clock, appreciate your attendance there. So,
Okay.
thank you very
Matt.
much.
Thank you, Matt.
I would like to entertain a motion to give DMR Marine Patrol permission to use the SB Avenue Civic Center parking for a lot to house their boats during the storm. There's 3 of them. They requested. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by aye. Those opposed by no, the motion carries. Troy, you got him on this? Huh? Okay, anything?
We need to discuss with Angela asked.
Yeah, we can get a clarification. Angela, well, I'll let you speak, Angela, on your issue, and we can settle that.
So in the past, when the county gave raises, they would do it, I guess, on their anniversary day.
Had to
The
complete-
employee's anniversary
They
day.
have to do
Year of the
their, a
anniversary.
full year before they got the raise. So with the raises coming into effect for October's pay period, we need do they have to be here the full year from when their anniversary date is for the PAFs? Or?
I see,
So Doc, we're trying to get everybody on the same cycle.
I see what you're
With
saying.
raises, this kind of ties into what we discussed Monday.
Last year, there was no waiting period, according to the memo we pulled from previous county
So the question is whether somebody has worked a year
Correct.
or
Before they're eligible for a raise.
before they're eligible for a raise. Or,
And then you have the ones that have just recently got a raise. So therefore, do they get the raise on top of their, which I have the list.
I mean, you can't, yeah, it has to be, I would say, just, it needs to be their service day. Because you just said you're gonna have someone that's gonna have them back to back. That's what's gonna
Yeah.
happen. You're gonna, if you try to do it yearly, you're gonna do it back to back.
Well, and that's
Well,
the
so I-
situation we've run into. You hire somebody in June, October is a pay treatment. So do you omit them in October and then hit them on their, give them their increase in June the following year? Then essentially what you have is you have somebody out of cycle. So either you have to catch them up, go and give them a raise, or let them miss 3 or 4 months before they're eligible. And we're trying to be streamlined and consistent. We're trying to get everybody on the October rotation.
so basically what we're saying is, we approved the pay raises in October. Anybody elected, hired during the year prior to this October would have to wait for the annual anniversary of their employment.
If we do that, that puts them out of cycle, or they miss the first pay raise and then they'd be eligible the following year.
So what you're saying is what you think happened last year, is that we didn't have everybody went October 1, everybody got it,
Correct.
regardless of how long you've been there.
If you would've started
So that
2
keeps them
weeks
in cycle.
before there,
That keeps them in cycle.
I got
you
you,
would've gotten a raise.
I got
If you were employed in October, but prior to
You would've
October,
started
new
September
budget year,
30th.
if you were employed prior to the new budget year, no matter how many days or months you were employed, from that year date, from October the 1st, then you would get your pay raise.
Correct.
That's what they did last year.
Right.
Right.
And I think that
But if
makes
you're
more
waiting
sense.
until their anniversary, then you have PAF that
Yeah.
will keep bouncing around throughout the year.
And that's exactly what we're trying to do, is we're trying to do pay treatment one time a year, everybody on one cycle. There are a couple exceptions to that, and we gotta figure out how we're gonna treat that, like in fire services and or certifications, and that would also be exempt from an elected official like tax assessor who gets their appraisal certification and things like that. In fire services, what we see is like a fireman one, you'll get a paramedic certification, which would entitle them to a slight bump.
Basically, what we're approving is an annual from the 1st of October.
That's it.
Anybody working here prior to October the 1st would get the pay raise.
Correct. And then that puts pay treatment one time a year. And then once we shore up that other policy that we learned about Monday, that eliminates.
A lot of the other
Yeah.
And we're not signing PAFs randomly through the year, and that helps bookkeeping, and it just streamlines a lot of stuff.
So, yeah,
Yes,
that's all right. I'm just asking, just,
Yes.
yeah,
Because they just got there.
that's fine. Is that the board's pleasure?
That's fine with me.
And, that,
Yes, sir. No
yeah,
problem.
from October to October.
Right, October.
October to September. They work. Anybody prior to that gets the pay raise.
That's good.
okay. Then I think the second part of that question, so looking historically at 2023, people who are employees who have already received a pay treatment, are we gonna consider them as well for October increase, which Angela has the list?
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I would think so, right?
2023 are the ones that just
The
got
one
raised
that's coming up.
2024 in July.
I'm sorry, 2024, I don't know
2024,
what
so
year
you
it
have
is.
several people on this list that just recently,
Yeah, like one, I think the earliest,
At the anniversary.
or the soonest one, was
no, they just got pay increase because they were bumped up.
Within budget.
So basically, this person got a raise on 7/15, we'll turn around and get another raise in October.
Correct.
It's gonna streamline
You're gonna-
things at the.
You're gonna have, there's no good way.
We have
There's-
to pay him some kind of way.
No matter what you do, somebody's gonna
We
get.
gotta take the
yeah.
pay in some kind of way.
It's
We gotta
just to
let that
get it on cycle, I think, let's go with the October first. Anybody prior to that will get the pay raise, or have gotten the pay raise and will get another one.
Okay.
I don't know how else to do it. All right?
Get out.
Angela, that clears it up for you? Okay. Anything else for the board needs to be discussed? Not? I guess we'll adjourn this meeting. We
No, we
adjourn.
recess.
We got recess.
We recess till Friday. That's right, we got a meeting Friday, recess.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor, signify by aye. Those opposed by, wait a minute. What-
go ahead.
All, for aye, any opposed, no, motion carries.
Friday, are y'all both gonna be in Biloxi with, Dr. Ladner and Angie?
Thank you, Matt.
They're gonna send the documents, the bond docs on both the Coliseum refunding and the MDOT refunding for y'all signature.
That will be Friday.
Yes, sir, if you can do it Friday. They'd like to go ahead and get it knocked
And we
out.
have to get them Biloxi Friday.
The meeting
I'll be
was-
there.
Yes.
Okay, if not, I'll bring them to you, but he said it's a lot of papers. This-
Yeah, I know, that's.
You buying the Coliseum, dog. It's like buying a house.
I know it.
We'll have a
Friday
meeting soon.
at, 9:30,
Yes, sir.
is that one?
Yes.
Friday, 9:30.
In Biloxi.
I'll be there. Cool. Anything else?
Hunker